So LEGO went ahead and made an entire minifigure set of just costume minifigures. That's pretty cool because I know everybody's favorite minifigures are the ones in the costumes. At least mine are. Liar! So let's take a look at what we got here. I can definitely see a few on the cover. We got monkeys, we got frogs, we got lions, we got dolphins, and all kinds of other kooky characters. So hopefully it's going to be a good set, and hopefully we've gotten all of them. So let's take a peek. Okay, so our first minifigure is going to be, looks like the Koala Man. Let's take a look here. All right, here it is, the Koala Man. Pretty basic figure, no printing on the legs, no printing on the arms, and just a little fuzzball thing in the center there. But you know, you got a koala hat, a boomerang, and some leaves for it to munch on. So koalas are from Australia, so it makes sense that it does have a boomerang. And another fun fact about koalas is they all have chlamydia. So, you know, the Australia thing also adding up there. But anyway, pretty cool figure. Let's take a look at what we get next. Okay, let's take a look at what we're getting next. I think it's a Dalmatian. Oh my goodness. It is a Dalmatian. Pretty cool figure. They do have spots all over with spots on the legs and arms. Does come with a tail piece and then a frisbee. Cool looking headpiece, but there is something of concern. Look at the way this guy is looking at me. Like, why does he look like that? Wearing a dog costume, you know, made of Lego. Anyway, definitely putting him on some sort of list, but it is a cool figure. Let's see who we get next. All right, let's rip into the next package here. What do we got? Looks like a lion. Very interesting. All right, this one's actually pretty cool looking. The lion headpiece looks really good. Does have a little toe printing there, and then this really cool looking tailpiece there with some dual molding on the tip just to give it a little bit extra flair. He does come with a piece of chicken leg there, but I don't think that's exactly how chicken legs come out in the wild when the lions get to them, you know, all perfectly fried and such. Bet you this thing even has lemon pepper dry rub all over it. But anyway, it is a pretty cool looking figure. Another thing to mention is the little plates are green this time around, so that's a nice little touch there, Lego. Used a different color. Pretty cool. All right, let's take a look at the next figure here. Uh-oh, a monkey. All right, here's the monkey. Pretty cool. Looks like a lot of monkey business going along here. We don't have any printing on the arms or legs, but we do have a pretty cool tailpiece and then some toe printing there. Overall, pretty cool figure. Does come with a banana. Anyway, I think that went to Jupiter. But let's take a look at what our next figure's gonna be. All right, let's take a look at who we got next. And it is a parrot. That's pretty cool, although it has one of these, and I'm not exactly a huge fan of these things, just because, you know, I'm no expert in Lego. So like, what do I do here? What am I looking at? All right, here's our parrot straight out of Rio. Comes with a snack box, pretty cool, and it does have these little wings as arms. She looks really excited, which, I mean, I can't imagine why she wouldn't be. She's dressed as a parrot, everyone. The parrot head is awesome, and it does come with this little tail piece here, which was a little hard to figure out, but, you know, you just kind of put it on there, and it's a little flappy. Overall, pretty cool figure here, and I like it a lot. It's a nice little addition to the set. All right, let's take a look at who we're gonna get next here. What's it gonna be? Ooh, looks like it's Judy Hopps. All right, it is a bunny rabbit. It does come with a little egg there, so maybe it's Easter themed, and it does have a basket. So I suppose you can put the egg in the basket, but it might fall out and you might lose it. Doesn't have any printing on the arms or legs. Overall, kind of generic. It does have a little tail on the back, but I do like the figure. You know, in this set, I guess, you know, it's par for the course. All right, we got 6, which is half the set, and we do have 6 more boxes remaining, so hopefully we get them all. Let's take a look at what we get next here. Oh my god, what is this? All right, it is a dolphin, this figure. Pretty cool looking piece. Looks like the dolphin's kind of eating the minifigure on the inside there. Like, you know, like the dolphin has eyes and then the minifigure has eyes. So it's like, I don't know, kind of inside the mouth. The only one that really looks like this does have little flippers and then a clam there with that, like an opal looking thing.
Assistant Leaky here, aren't dolphins the most intellectually superior on the planet?
Yes, I actually heard that dolphins are superior to humans intellectually. In fact, they are known to secretly run all world governments. So that's why there's a lot of dolphin-based propaganda you see in the media these days. But anyway, I do like this figure, and it is a nice addition to our set here. All right, let's take a look at what we're going to get next here. Oh my gosh. What? That. Okay, it is a goldfish. Does look a little creepy. I mean, just look at that face there. You know, a little unsettling. Looks like a sleep paralysis demon of some sort. You do have a nice molded piece there on the tail. Has a fin and then, you know, a back flapper thing. Does go all the way down to the feet. Got some nice scales printed on the body as long as a little goldfish feeder bottle thing, though. If I was a minifigure, I don't know if I'd pick a goldfish as my costume, considering it lasts about as long as Gen Alpha's attention. So, you know, not exactly the best choice, but a pretty cool figure. We can add it to the collection here. We're starting to get quite a few of them. All right, let's see who we get next here. I'm really hoping for that peacock. Looks pretty cool. Oh my gosh, what do we have here? Okay, this costume is a cat. Pretty cool. It does come with a tail and then some printing on the face there, but you just got a generic white legs and no printing on the arms. But, you know, it does come with a ball of yarn, so that's, you know, a little bit of a makeup there for not having any arm printing, and it does have a little collar. A little freaky there. I don't know why she's up to that, but does come with that. Pretty cool figure, but overall not really my favorite. There are a few in this set that are a little cooler. Like if we just compare it side by side to the parrot there, you know, that's definitely, it's just no competition. But, you know, it is a nice inclusion once you put it next to the whole gang. All right, we got 9 of them, and we have no duplicates whatsoever so far, and we have 3 packs left, so fingers crossed we have all of them. But let's take a look at what we are going to get next. All right, it is a frog. This one's pretty cool. It's got printing on the arms there, got dual molded legs with some polka dots and some toe printing, and then this creepy looking headpiece. I mean, look at that. That's a little unsettling. For some reason, it comes with bubbles. I think that's what this is supposed to be. Maybe a bubble wand, and he's blowing the bubbles there. Don't exactly know the relation to bubbles and frogs, but Lego certainly thought that it was a nice inclusion. Overall, it's a pretty cool figure, and when you put them next to all the rest of them, it is definitely cool to see how many costume figures we have. I bet you if you pulled all the costume figures from all the other sets, there'd be an entire another collection of these guys just based on what we've gotten in the past. But anyway, let's take a look at what we get next. All right, let's take a look at what we're gonna get next here. Oh my goodness. That is trippy. All right, it is a peacock. This is actually a really cool figure. It comes with this like tailpiece that has, you know, the typical peacock feathers on it with all their cool designs, and then it does have a nice little design on the shirt there with then the molded arms. Overall, it's pretty cool. It comes with this little leaf piece, so, you know, the only one that really comes with some foliage, so that's interesting.
Hey, Assistant Leaky here. This is definitely my favorite one in the set. That is I don't remember ever a pattern like that big on a minifigure before. Maybe some of the custom ones. But yeah, it looks like he's really trying to go out and get his mate with that. So that's my favorite one.
Yeah, I don't actually know how many figures come with such a big piece on the back. I mean, it is interesting. I hope it doesn't have, you know, breaking issues. That could definitely become a problem, but it seems really solid.
Yeah, and I actually went back through our extensive collection of minifigures, and I did find this one had the biggest back, but I don't think it's as cool because they just, you know, they kind of snapped it together here where that is one solid piece.
Yeah, I guess that is a little bit bigger as far as a piece goes, so maybe they have done similar sizes. Although this one, it is like round, you know, it isn't as wide. I think this one's a little bit longer, so
yeah.
It's certainly something to watch out for. I don't
remember
know.
feeling for this one in the bags because it just had all kinds of pieces.
Oh yeah, this one definitely comes with all different sort of bits there, and that was back when they were in the bags before they moved over to these boxes and you could just scan them. But let us know in the comments if you remember any figures that have bigger plastic backings than these two. I'm sure we definitely I'm forgetting a few. Really solid, and it does add a lot to the figure. I wish some of the other ones were just as cool. But anyway, that just leaves one remaining figure we have not gotten in the set, because we have 11 of the 12, and there is one little package left. So fingers crossed we get the last one. I don't actually know what it is, but let's take a look. All right, this is it. The final package. Let's take a look. Oh my gosh. Scary. Holy crap. All right, it is a crocodile. This is a really cool looking figure here. The crocodile head looks awesome. It does have printing on the toes and knees there, and then it comes with a rubber ducky and a life preserver. Because if you don't know this, kids, there are sewers around America that have crocodiles and alligators living within them. That is just 100% true. There are just crocodiles swimming around in the sewers. In fact, not some sewers, all sewers. It's actually a mandate by the government that there has to be crocodiles in there in order to eat up all of the unnecessary debris that builds up. But this figure's pretty cool. It actually reminds me of one of the very first costume figures I ever got, and one of my favorites, which is this guy from Series 5. And now that I put them all next to each other, oh my gosh, has Lego come quite a ways here since Series 5. They're pretty much the same style. Of course, back then, Lego couldn't mold such an elaborate piece, so this is actually a separate piece than the tail. But they're pretty similar looking. I do really like this one, but the printing is definitely better on this one. But, you know, they definitely started a long time ago with these costume figures, because this one came out in... Okay, don't actually look that up because it's probably before most of the people watching this were born, so that's kind of a yikes. But now we do have the full collection here, guys, so let's take a look at all of them together. All right, here they are, the complete collection of the costume minifigures. Pretty cool set. I think my favorite in this whole collection is the lion minifigure. Just because he's really cool looking. I don't know, I really like that tail and head piece. I know it doesn't got a whole lot of printing on the side and legs. It would have been cooler if we saw something like that, but it is a pretty cool figure. Overall, I think the set was well worth it as far as getting all of them, just because they're all very unique and special. And I know I've been pretty critical in the past about the costume minifigures, you know, not being the greatest and being filler and this, that, and the other thing. But I really do like this set. It is really cool to see all the costume people next to each other, and they're all relatively unique. And then also all relatively unique to what we've gotten in the past. We haven't really seen a whole lot of duplicates here. I know I did mention the crocodile, but that is a nice update. All of these are a lot nicer than what we've gotten in the past, and Lego's really shown off what they can do with their molds nowadays, and then their dual molding, and then their colorations and whatnot. But anyway, if you do want to get these sets, I think there are still in stores for the time being. If you're watching this and, I don't know, any time past right now, then you're probably out of luck and you're going to have to pay an arm and a leg for them on eBay, so I do apologize about that. If you did like the video, I'm sure we've got more just like it on the channel, so definitely take a look, and we will see you in the next one.